The IB exam period was one of the most intense periods of my life. I'm still trying to get over it. Like, I had to sit 14 exams, 15 if you include the PAT exam. And when I was in the school system, I was very much focused and, like, narrowed in about, like, making sure that my grades were as good as possible and making sure that I chose the right subject. But the thing is that after I finished my exams, which I thought it was all riding on, I was like, these exams are either gonna kill me or save me kind of vibe. I'm either gonna do well here or end up broken homeless. That was kind of the irrational emotional vibes that I was feeling. But the funny thing is that as soon as I finished my exams, I realized that my scores and grades did not matter because I had already gotten signals from the university that I applied to that they were just gonna take me anyways. And I was like, you haven't seen my exams yet. You haven't seen my grades. Are you telling me that I didn't meet anything? Are you telling me that I did all of that and all you guys wanted was my predicted grades? Are you fucking kidding me, man? But yeah, basically, that's what happened. So, this video is going to be about why you should always choose to pick the path that is most authentic to you. So basically, from the ages of 16 to 17, I was doing the IB Baccalaureate program. And for me, when I was in school, school was everything. School was life. For some people, that may sound depressing and like, oh, this poor girl, like, you know, thinks she blah, blah, blah. But for me, I really like education. I really actually enjoyed it. And I'm actually really proud of myself for having worked very hard. I learned so much in the IB Baccalaureate program, which I still use to this day. Like, my writing ability is really strong now because of the IB. I just, like, developed so much in the IB. Studying physics, chemistry, and maths, I just absolutely love those subjects. And so I'm very glad that I have the knowledge that I do have today. And so for me, I really like school. And I was very, like, disciplined with myself, and I really wanted to get good grades. And this is essentially because I was dead set on, like, getting a scholarship. I went to a private school, and so basically all of my friends were, like, set for life. If they like fucked up, they could just use their daddy's money. But I got a free ride to that private school because my mom was a teacher there. My parents are divorced. We're just not wealthy. When you're from a third world country, you have to be wealthy as fuck to be able to afford to go to the international universities. Like, international students pay like 30 grand a year for tuition. That's not including room and board and all of that stuff. But there are scholarships, which I was dead set on getting because I really wanted to go and study physics at a university. That's just what I wanted to do. And I was super ready to, like, you know, go full beast mode into the exams and destroy it. But then literally a week before my exam started, I stumbled on this thing called Minerva. I, like, read about it, I watched a few videos about it, I did research on it, and I was like, oh my god, this is the place for me. It had everything that I personally wanted in a university, and it got rid of things which I didn't want in a university. So, I'm not gonna go into it much now, but yeah, I basically fell in love with it. I still like it, I'm still very glad I picked it for the record. I still think there are a lot of problems with it because it is a new university, but for me, like, it's pretty simple math. The pros outweigh the cons by a long shot. One thing I was worried about when it came to applying to traditional universities was that I wasn't doing, like, the right things to make myself look like the right person that they would want to give a scholarship to. Okay, so all in all, charity is good, right? Like, doing charity and doing service and leadership work is, like, good because it helps the community, it helps someone in general. But I personally didn't want to be the kind of person who was doing charity work, doing leadership work, just because it would look good on a resume. Because then it's not authentic. You're not actually doing it because you care about the issue. You're not actually doing it because this is something that you are passionate about. You're doing it for external validation. And that is just not something that I'm interested in participating in. The work that they're doing is good, so it's not like they're evil or whatever. It's not like they should stop doing that. For me, for the most part, I focused on what I liked and what I enjoyed. And that was doing a lot of sports, being the captain of my rugby team, which was my favorite thing ever, very authentic to me, and studying really hard because I love academics, I love studying, I love learning. I knew that if I was gonna win, I was gonna win on my grades, not because I'm like a super well-rounded, amazing person or whatever. Which is fine if you like to do that, I'm not judging. I'm just saying that's like not for me. I'd rather do service work by like helping kids pass their exams, making money and then donating it, helping kids learn, rather than like running a campaign about why we should save the turtles or whatever. And so yeah, that was a big worry for me when I was applying to traditional universities. I also didn't want to be the leader because I don't think they don't do anything. Like, school leaders in my school, like, I don't know about your school, this is my school. School leaders, like, they didn't do anything. They just did it, got their little badge, and then put it on their resume. Like, for them. It's true. It's true. It's just true. You wanted to be a leader so that it would look good on your resume. Admit it. Now, some people obviously do want to be leaders and they do things, but that was like the vibe in my school. And I knew that like if I were to be a leader, I probably would not have the time or energy to actually be able to contribute to the community. And so I didn't apply. So yeah. Everyone wanted me to apply. I was like, no, I know myself. I'm not gonna be good at this. And so yeah, when I discovered Minerva, damn, that was like such a blessing. But it was also kind of weird too, because I realized that there were like 3 options for enrollment. There's binding decision, and then admissions 1 and admissions 2. Admissions 1 and 2 were after I'd gotten my results. But then binding, I worked out the math, and basically it was saying that like I was gonna get my results about whether I was accepted into Minerva or not before I got in like my IB final results. Like based off the math about like how long it would take, that they would say like there would not be enough time for me to give them my actual IB results, which I was like, what? You don't require my exam results? So I figured that out, applied, and then basically 2 days later I started my exams. I was like, I feel like the perfect candidate for this university. I know I'm not a perfect candidate for schools like Harvard or Yale because they want you to do all of that extra stuff that I didn't want to do. I'm probably not a good candidate for Oxford because I just done the entrance exam. I was like, what the fuck? This is for people who have studied physics for their entire life since they were like 6. I liked physics, but I'm not like crazy intelligent physics. I like it and I work hard at it. I'm not like a natural born physics genius, like how it seems like Oxford expects of you. But then Minerva felt just right for me because it felt like I could be authentic in my application and then they would be okay with that. Because basically, in my opinion, Minerva's just looking for people who are passionate and people who are like academic and willing to work hard in whatever kind of domain or field that they want. And I knew that was definitely me. Like I just really like the fact that you could just be authentic in your application, and that it seemed like that was encouraged, whilst all of the other universities was like you had to package yourself up in this particular way. So yeah, I was like, okay, there's a really low acceptance rate, but I'm still gonna try and I'm still gonna see what happens. And so I apply. I still go full throttle into my exams because at that point I still was like really thinking about going to Oxford, really thinking about going to Australia. So I applied for binding enrollment with Minerva. It's for people whose number 1 school is Minerva. Basically, they're going to return your application within 4 weeks. And then you have 10 days to decide whether you want to commit to the school, and you have to pay a deposit. And so this is the thing, right? I got like predicted like a 45 for the IB, which is like the highest that you can get. And I didn't really think that any of like the other parts of my application for Minerva would be all that good. I'll talk about this in another video, but like the rest of my application honestly was pretty lame. I was riding on the fact that like I could get a high score. And so I applied for binding because I felt that like, oh, if I flunked my exams and had to give those instead of my predicted grades, then I would probably have like less good of a shot, because by the time that I had to submit the other applications, I would have already had my exam grades. And so I was like, okay, there's only 2 days left to submit this application, but I'm just gonna do it. And so yeah, I submit my application, go full throttle into exams, like literally like a few days afterwards. Intense, crazy period, but honestly, I enjoyed it for the most part because I felt like it was like my time to shine. Like this is where I'm like gonna prove myself. This is where I'm gonna like show that like I know my shit. I'm going to prove to the IB examiners that like I can do it. And then I finished my exams and I'm like, I just did my exams. It's finished. Life is over. Obviously, there's more to life than exams, which I figured out. And basically, 2 days after I finished my exams, I got an email. And the email was from Minerva's admissions processing team. And they told me that they wanted to interview me. But they didn't tell me, like, anything specific. They were just like, oh, we want to interview you and give your parent a chance to ask about Minerva. Oh, shit. This is going to be like the Oxford interviews. They're going to ask me questions. They're going to try and, like, you know, I have to prepare. What do I do? This is going to be, like, the moment where like they decide whether they want to admit me or not. But then I went into the interview and that's not what it was. It wasn't a test interview. It wasn't like we're gonna interview you and decide whether we want you to come to Minerva or not. It was basically like a discussion with the Southeast Asia Minerva guy, where he was just giving us information on Minerva and doing Q&A with my mom so that we could know whether Minerva was a good fit or not. So there was actually no pressure to like try and come off in a good way. What I realized is that like they interview all potential applicants, and if you get that interview, that must mean that like there's a high chance that you are likely to get in. Because when I was in the interview, he said we would just like to interview our top applicants and let them know a little bit more about Minerva. And so I was like, oh my god, I did this interview, I must be in, right? This wasn't like a test. I didn't know for sure, of course. I was kind of getting the vibes that like, oh, they must have really liked my application. They must actually like want me. I don't have my IB exam scores yet, right? Like, I don't have my IB exam scores. But 5 days later, I get my acceptance letter, and I found out that I got accepted. And this was such a moment for me because I hadn't gotten accepted into any other university yet. I had just finished my exams. I didn't think I would get accepted for a while. I still didn't apply to all of the universities that I wanted to apply to. And I got accepted, and it was crazy. I didn't get a conditional offer or anything. I got accepted. But, like, I still haven't gotten my IB exam results, which was basically the only thing I ever cared about up until this point. But, like, this really took the pressure off of me because I realized that, oh my god, my exam grades do not matter. They don't care. I even DM'd someone that went to Minerva. I was like, hey, so what happens if my exam grades come out and they drop? And he was like, it's fine. They don't really care. My grades dropped by 6 points, but they still took me. So what I came to realize when reflecting on like my application process and like, oh, what could have like made them put me into this school is that, oh my god, I won on authenticity. I basically spent the 2 years just focusing on my strengths. I was just doing things that I felt were really authentic to me. I wasn't doing anything because I thought it would look good on a resume. I was just doing the things that I was best at and I thought would be my strong points, and that turned out to work out. And so I'm just really proud of that. And I manifested that in a few ways. For one thing, I didn't do HL maths, which I probably should have because I wanted to do a physics degree. I think that's a huge reason why I got rejected from a bunch of other physics courses. I got into the math HL classroom and I was like, nah, this is not for me. This is not for me. I'm dropping TESOL math, and I dropped in 3 days. Because I just knew that I was going to be sad and depressed. I was going to hate math if I was going to stick in that classroom with that particular teacher. Nothing on him. I just really liked my old math teacher who was teaching Math SL. And so because she was teaching Math SL, I just went to her class and I was like, Miss, I'm not taking Math HL. Take me back. I want to be an SL. And I think that was bold of me because a lot of my friends, they just stayed the course. They stayed in Math HL, I don't know, out of pride or something for like way too long, and then they came back and they were like, oh, what do I do now? I've learned all this stuff I don't need to. I just like knew as soon as I got in there, I was like, no, this is not for me, I'm dropping, and I dropped. And so I was really proud of that. One way in which I did like sacrifice being authentic was when I was basically forced into doing chemistry instead of film. I originally really wanted to take film HL because I really am obsessed with film. I really like film. But then I was told by everyone, oh, if you want to do science, you have to do 2 sciences. You have to do chemistry. And I was like, no, I don't want to do chemistry. I want to do film. And I did chemistry, and the first year was absolutely terrible. I hated my teacher. I hated everything about it. But the good thing is that I actually learned to really like chemistry, and now I love chemistry. I teach chemistry. I think it's so fun. A main reason why I really liked it was because of Richard Thornley videos. I just love them so much. It was one of the subjects which I learned to love, and I'm very grateful that I did do chemistry because now I tutor in it and it's really fun. Like, it's just such an adorable subject. It's just about a bunch of little atoms bumbling around and you have to see what happens to them, see what happens to the electrons. I just think it's a fun subject, so I'm actually glad that I took that one. So as you know, I got rejected from Oxford University. That was really hard for me because I was really dead set on like doing physics in Oxford, but I was authentic in my application. I didn't do Math HL. I wasn't like the most genius math and physics person there was. I did get a 7 though. I actually did get the right grades to be able to get in, but I did the PAT exam and I absolutely failed that one, and I think that was actually a really good thing for me. I think getting rejected from Oxford was actually good because I think because I failed like their admissions processing thing, it's probably a good indicator that that was probably not the right environment for me. And so yeah, if you're like worried about like getting rejected from a certain university, I wouldn't worry about it too much, because if you got rejected from a university that you really wanted to go to, then you probably wouldn't have thrived in that environment either. I was very authentic with all of the actions that I took in high school. I only did things that I enjoyed, that I liked, and that I was good at, basically. Of course, there were subjects that I had to take, which, you know, you just have to take them sometimes, you know, that's not that big of a deal. But following my intuition and taking subjects which I knew that would, like, you know, be able to help me get into pathways which I thought were the most authentic to me, turned out to really work. And now I've just finished my first year at Minerva, and I'm gonna make a huge video reflecting about this experience, but I'm just so happy that I'm in this university. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I really enjoy it. I'm gonna be honest, some people don't like it. So for a lot of people, it's not for them. Not too hard, not too easy. It's like a good level for me. What I'm most happy with is that I got in very authentically and with merit. I didn't fake anything. Literally no one helped me. Like, I did this all on my own, and I'm just very proud of that. I'm not trying to push Minerva on anyone. There's only so many people who I would recommend Minerva to. To a lot of people that I know, just the students around me, I would not actually recommend the Minerva. Like this top-down notion that everyone should go to university is like ridiculous to me. I don't even want to go to it to try and secure a job. I want to go to it because I'm obsessed with education, learning, studying, and I thrive in that sort of academic environment. And that's because I really know myself. I know what I want, I know what I like, I know what I'm good at. What I want to be an advocate for is doing what feels authentic to you. Doing something that you really enjoy and not trying to box yourself in to this like persona that you think that a university will like. You never know what's going to happen, what sort of opportunities are going to pop up for you. You can spend a lot of time like trying to be the person that you think this other person wants you to be, but I just genuinely believe that if you have like a thing, it's always worth just like going all in on the thing that you love, and if you're patient about it and you work hard, opportunities will pop up for you. I just kept doing my thing, being authentic to myself, and then an opportunity popped up. It takes time, it takes work, it takes dedication. The thing about being like authentic and doing what you love and doing what you're really passionate about is that doing that sort of stuff compounds over time. Like, I started like really digging into like education and like what it means to learn something and like studying and stuff when I was in like grade 8. When it was not cool, but I just continued because I knew that I really liked it. I had to. If I didn't, I would be sad. And there were times in my life where I wasn't like doing things that I felt were like really authentic to me, and I was just like trying to fit in. I was just like trying to be normal for once, and I was never happy during those situations. So yeah, that's my video topic for today. I didn't really have a clear theme or topic that I'm talking about. I just wanted to talk about a lot of things, I guess, in this video. And so yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for listening.